Hey guys, welcome back. So today we are going to be working on resetting and restyling this ambient shelf behind me and this one right here. I've done videos in the past about resetting my grow tent, so it's very much the same thing, cutting off ugly leaves, cutting off pest damaged leaves, except this time we have the opportunity to be a little bit more savage. A little bit of a backstory because I've been talking for a long time about whittling down my collection because the size of it has become a little bit untenable for me and my current schedule. So the goal is to have my collection be a size where I can properly balance my plant hobby with my other hobbies and also my career goals. So this past weekend I was with Jing and Charmaine as we were at Jing's house packing all the orders from our last website restock. And we always get on the topic of our collections, our collection goals and things like that, what we're working on, plants we want to keep or not keep or get. And we're all kind of in the phase of downsizing. And it was just the kind of gassing up I needed to be a little bit more brutal and not be so precious about plants I might have sentimental attachment to, but I don't currently like them that much and it's not really serving me anymore. I think the plants that I find the hardest to let go of live inside my tent, so we're not really touching the tent today, but out here I have a lot of plants that aren't doing that well because I don't have time to be on top of the watering. Sometimes I'm a little bit behind on the pest management and they just don't have the humidity to be thriving all the time, so they do look worse than the plants inside of the tent. So luckily I have a friend I mentioned in the past that actively wants to get little rehab projects and stuff like that, so I'm going to let them pick over first, and after that it's going to be a mixture of chopping them up for the next website restock or selling them on Facebook Marketplace. And so the goal is by the end of this week, a lot of this I'm going to be doing off camera, I want a room, a plant room that I can do a cartwheel in. The thing is I can't do cartwheels, but I want it to be possible to do a cartwheel in here. I want some empty space between plants in the shelves so I can actually see them better. I want a number of plants in here that is much easier to keep on top of the watering. And as always, I'm very optimistic about the future. We're gonna get on top of things. We just need to put in the elbow grease now. So I think what makes the most sense is if I go row by row. So I take the plants off, prune whatever leaves I need to, and then we'll clean the shelf, put those plants back so we're not just like walking in a sea of plants. Let's start over here on the left side with my red crystal king of spades. This one unfortunately got a little bit of thrips damage. Hopefully you can see it. Let me drop the saucer. Right here, but it's since gone through 2 rounds of spinosad treatment. So I'm reluctant to chop off this leaf. Let me see if I see any thrips on here. I don't think I do, but in any case, I will do another round of spinosad spray tonight once the lights go off. Today is watering day, but I haven't really watered anything because I knew it would just be messier to have dripping plants while I'm doing this. I think we could get rid of this leaf here. And maybe this leaf at the back here that's gotten a little bit crispy. I mean, it's not like crazy crispy, but it's always been kind of smushed in the back. And so now I just have these 3 leaves at the front. So I'm just checking for thrips once again. I really don't see it, but I could even get rid of this leaf, but I wonder, actually, no, let's do it. Let's get rid of this leaf as well because it's a little bit ugly. And so now we just have a lovely 2-leafer. These are the prettiest 2 leaves it's ever grown. Look how dark the fully hard leaf is, and it's so round and pretty and so king of spades heavy. Next up is this one. I never show this plant. This one is Magnificum by Kunaya Lens. I think this hybrid was done by Paul. Let me see. This one was right next to that plant, and here's a pretty fresh leaf, and I don't see any thrips damage on it. I'm going to prune off everything but should I do everything but this leaf? I think I will. The thing is with this plant, the Kunaya Lens genes makes it so that it really hates being underwatered. And I constantly underwater it. So many times I come in here and this one's just like this. It's totally wilted. But then surprisingly, I'm guessing this is the Magnificum in it. I water it, it perks right back up. It doesn't throw a huge fit. It's done surprisingly well in ambient. Like look how the leaves form. It's not too bad. The question is, should I cut this leaf off? I think, yeah, let's cut it off. This will make it so much easier for me to see the pot and when it's dry. Okay, so this one is a sad state of affairs. This one's my other red crystal king of spades. and it got so much edema damage. It's almost like I should just start over with this one, but I like it so much more at this stage of maturity. I'm just taking off a dead inflow. So I think what I want to do with this one is cut off a few of these crispy leaves just so it's not taking up so much room. And then when the next nice leaf comes out, that's when I will cut all of the crispy leaves off. But this kind of damage, I believe, is when I let it fully dry out and then I completely saturate it with water. And a lot of times when I water, I'm just leaving a bit of water in the saucer. So it's kind of staying quite wet. It has no way to transpire in time. So I'm gonna cut off this leaf at the back that's totally horizontal right here. I'll cut this leaf that's the most crispy. I'll leave the newest one right here. And maybe I'll take this one off right here. So it's just a 2-leafer now. Now let's clean the shelf. There's a spider here, of course. Clean this little frame too. I think I'm just gonna put these plants back the way they were because I don't necessarily have a good reason to move them around. It's nice to be able to actually see this plant. Okay, one shelf down. And then over here, my dark phoenix, I don't actually want to pick it up because it's so heavy. It's in a glass vessel full of pon. This is the newest leaf. Hopefully you can see it. And then this is the older leaf that I believe grew in my tent. So this is the only leaf it's ever grown in ambient for me. It's also gotten a little bit crispy. I think I'm gonna just chop off this old leaf. And this way I can rotate the plant a little bit. I do have to keep it in this corner because I've got it on top of a really thick piece of glass on top of my exo, but I want it like kind of supported on the corner, so I can't really move it to the middle. And then my Queen of Hearts is not doing well. The growth point did activate, but yeah, it's obviously not happy, and I almost feel like this should just grow in my tent. So I don't have space in my tent, but maybe I could make some space inside of this exo. So I'll just put it back for now, and maybe we'll work on the exo. So this stump right here is my green formation space. I think I'm gonna just get rid of it. I'll put it in like the little rehab pile for my friend to look over. And then this plant, I don't know if it's still alive. I'm pretty sure it's dead. It's really squishy all the way down. This is Ace by Lux. What are you? This doesn't even have a tag. What is it? I want to say, So this one is Lux by Ralph Lauren Port Sherman. Are you still alive? I think you're still alive. I thought this one was Lux Ralph Lauren Port Sherman, but this plant is no longer with us, so that's going to be compost. My green on green Frydek, I will get rid of this, but in the meantime, let's cut off these leaves that are already on the way out. They're drooping. This one I could probably pinch off. And I'll get rid of this one too. I think I will get rid of this one, but just show you what it looks like. Here's the green on green. Here's the newest leaf, which is quite small. I think probably because there's no reservoir left. And then here's the oldest leaf. I have my Tandarusa. This leaf is on its way out. Just cut it off. This is my Debilis. I think this is compost. I think the stem down here is okay, but I'm pretty sure all this up here is dead. I'll cut down to where there's live stem and I'll see if anybody wants this. Here's a sad little BVEP. The thing is, if I get rid of alocasias, then there's nothing shading the little humidity loving anthurium that I put in here. Because right now this plant is blocking all of the light. So if I took it away, these plants actually have a chance at something. Here's my BVEP from Jorge. It's doing much better, but it does need water. So okay, let's take this out. And I think I can give that away. And then we can clean the inside at least. It's actually not too dirty in here. I like to take my bench scraper and just put a little paper towel around it so I can really scrape up all the dust. And so it all gets squeegeed into one little pile that I can just wipe up. Do a little bit on the side. The walls aren't too dirty either, but I'll give it a wipe down anyways. Okay, so with that gone, I can put the stumps at the front where they'll get the most light. I had this BVEP on a riser in the back. This BVEP was here. And then I could put the Queen of Hearts in here too. Was that everything? I think that was everything. Look how much more space there is now. And now every plant in here is actually getting some light. Now I have to figure out what to do with this. Okay, next shelf. This plant is gonna get some, oh my goodness, hardcore pruning. This is my Minahasa, which has been really underwatered. It's been needing a big repot for a long time that I just haven't gotten around to. So we're going to cut off basically everything. I've been really looking forward to resetting this plant for a long time, but we're going to take it down to a stump for now. It does have a new leaf here that was growing towards the back of the wall, so it was quite dark. We're gonna rotate it so it's facing the front of the shelf, so maybe it'll straighten itself out, and also it needs water desperately. I'm also not opposed to chopping that plant up into little chunks. Okay, my dark forgetii is always like a mite's dream. It's always covered in speckles, but I will definitely cut off this leaf that grew a bit wonky. He was just searching for light. Should I cut off everything but this leaf? I think I will. Cut this leaf off and this leaf off. So it's just a little one leafer now. The thing about cutting all the leaves off when you have kind of intermittent little, not full blown pest outbreaks, but every now and then little area has mites or little area has thrips, it's so much easier to individually treat leaves when you have far fewer of them. This is a king of spades where a lot of the leaves are starting to yellow. So I'm going to get rid of definitely the yellowing ones. So this is not my original king of spades. This one's like self-fling type of situation. I think I'll just leave it like this as a little 3-leafer. It's quite small. It's not bothering nobody. So this plant is a red crystal by Carla. I will be taking it down to a stump, repotting it smaller and regrowing a leaf to sell later, I believe. So I'm going to put this to the side. This is a Wenlingeri Western Panama from Owen. It has not grown a leaf for me. I don't even see an active growth point, but it's kind of just been frozen in time. So we're not going to do anything to it. I'm just going to leave it as it is. My Queen Clary. This is one of my favorite plants, honestly. So this shelf is lit by Soltech aspect lights. They're turned down to about 60% brightness. I haven't turned it down to 50 yet. So there's plants like this that are kind of ducking away from the light. Like you can see this one's kind of facing down a little bit. This new leaf is not starting to duck away just yet, but I'm happy to see that it grew a shorter petiole. I don't know if it's just kind of adapting to the higher light situation, but I will cut off these little leaves at the bottom here and here. Chop. And then probably this one as well. I'm not sure if it's worth keeping this leaf, but it's so pristine. It's just kind of like weird at the back. You know what? We'll just keep it. And then my Mr. Worldwide, it has a new leaf, but it's a little bit scuffed. It's not scuffed, it's just kind of a little bit ripped. I will keep, I think I'll keep all but this leaf back here. I do find this plant gets in the way of other plants and it's hard to find the ideal spot for it because it's kind of wide. So I think this is fine. Oh my goodness, this plant, look at the new leaf. This is my red crystal cell from Dania. Look at the color on this new leaf. I need to bring the light closer. Hopefully it's showing better now. Is this color not insane? It's so pink and the green part is this dark plummy black. This leaf is the most like deep and intense the color's ever been. I'm going to cut off, okay, so I'm going to leave this leaf on, but we're going to cut off this leaf here, this leaf here, that's a little bit yellowy, and I think we'll just keep the rest of the plant on. It's not very big, so it doesn't take up much room. It's unfortunate there's a little bit of rip in the corner, but the color is just amazing. Okay, this one is a bit of a problem. I might take this back to a stump. So this one is Dark Phoenix by King of Spades. It's the hybrid I made with Jing. This one is just so covered in flat mites. This newest leaf a few months ago got attacked by thrips and I left the leaf on and it's just now activated a growth point. I think it does kind of make sense to get rid of all these pest damage leaves. Should I do, let me just leave this one on, an older leaf that doesn't have pest damage. And then I might just soak it in spinosad and leave it in a prop box because I've got bins, I've got tall bins, I got short bins, and then I can maybe get rid of it after it grows a non-pest damage leaf. And then the last plant is my King of Spades. It has not grown a leaf in the longest time, just getting rid of this. I think I will get rid of this leaf here. It put out its first flower in the longest time. It hasn't fully opened up yet, but I'm looking forward to collecting the pollen on this one. I'm not going to put anything on it. I've never used it as a mother plant, but in the past when I use it as pollen, the seed yields are quite small because a lot of them get really rotty, but the hybrids, that I get out of it are some of my favorites of all time. So I will have use for this pollen. And I just wanted to put out another leaf. This leaf is atrocious. It's so thrips damaged, but I'm gonna leave the leaf on for now. So confession time. This is the first time I wiped down the shelves since I put these shelves up. And when did I put these shelves up? I think it was beginning of summer. Was it like June or something? But it's not that dirty. And that's why I've never been motivated to take all the plants off to wipe down, because the shelves don't even look dirty. There's little specks of substrate and stuff, but even the wiping down is quite smooth. Put the King of Spades back where it came from. We'll just put them back where they were originally, and we might move things around later. Queen Clary was right in the middle. Mr. Worldwide was back here. I did have it on a riser. I think maybe that makes sense. Yeah, let's rise it. Is this too high? I think that's okay. And then the King of Spades was here. Lark Forgetia, I think maybe I'll put it back here, but on a riser. Just because I don't think it likes that much light, but this is possibly a good spot for it. This riser is not very safe. Do I have anything better than that? Let's just do this for now, and I'll rise it later. Minahasa can go back here, but facing outwards. Oh, also the Wenling Gray. We'll put this was here. Maybe I'll put it here. Yeah, but I do think something needs to go here. Maybe we'll do this for now. Yeah, fine. Okay, this is the most flattering angle of me ever. Here's the Woohoo's First Night, which I will chop, I think. I've been looking forward to chopping this, but I just didn't have enough substrate to do a mass chopping. Oh my God. I look like a triangle. I didn't have enough substrate for a while, but now I do. So I'm gonna chop this, maybe this little one at the back, and then why not? We'll chop this one too. So I'm gonna put it back on the shelf for now, but I will be propagating this in the near future. I do want to keep a piece of this plant, but there's not that many Woohoo's First Night clones from like the original seed batch floating around. I feel like some people might be interested in it. This one is the Carla Open from Fairchild. So I bid on this on Palm Street before IAS last year, and I picked it up at IAS, and like I like the story behind it. I don't like the plant itself as much as I thought I would based on what it looked like when it was more juvenile. So this is one of those things where I just don't want to let go of it, but I probably should, because if you showed me like this plant, if it wasn't damaged, if you showed it to me now, I probably wouldn't buy it. So this is one of those ones where I'll cut all the leaves off, put it in a prop box, let it grow a nice leaf, and pass it on to the next person. Here is a pap that was bred by Owen. This one's Fortune Rolflinum by RA5 Swamp Bunny. So this plant puffed, but as you can see, the apical growth point is still healthy, it's alive, but it's been focusing all its energy on growing the pup. So I'm going to cut off the biggest leaf, and we're just gonna keep it like this. This pot is empty. I want to find a plant for it. It did have my novelty G Ace of Spades in it. I've already taken it out, I've chopped it up. There's props growing in a bin, it's put out its first leaves. So I'm gonna put it to the side, but I do want to find a good plant for it because I really like this pot. It's 3D printed by Jomo Studios. This is my Forgetii Carla. I will cut off one leaf, this one right here. It's potted in the Jomo Studios pot, and it hasn't grown, maybe it's grown one leaf in the time, but it's been a long time, like many, many months. And I do see healthy roots, but I kind of want to repot it. It's flowered multiple times, but I can't find the growth point. It's definitely not dying off at an alarming rate, but it's not thriving either. This is a Crystal Carla. This was bred by Stelmar Gardens. I will be letting go of this one. This one did get thrips. As you can see, it's been treated. I don't see any thrips, like live thrips on it. I think what I'll do is just cut off these leaves. I might cut off this leaf. I'm not sure right at this very moment, but if I need to cut this off for it to fit into a prop box, so be it. Here's another plant that's not growing, my Chris Carla. I moved this out of the tent and repotted it into a bigger pot. Let's see, it has grown some roots. It's not like a tremendous amount of roots, and it's flowered. This one's just opening up, but it hasn't put out a leaf ever since I moved it out, which has been I'm gonna guess 6 months, maybe 5 months, but technically nothing's super wrong with it. It's a little bit bleachy at the bottom. It's not very much light up here, but down towards the bottom of the shelf, and especially this level here, is definitely the brightest because the aspects are diagonally pointing at this shelf. Okay, this When Lingeri, I'm not opposed to letting go of. So at Jing's house, we were talking about When Lingeri. We were talking about how many we had and like if we were gonna keep them. I think I have 1, 2, 3, 4 When Lingeri. I wouldn't say that I need 4 When Lingeri, and if I were to get rid of one, I probably would get rid of this. So I have my original one here, and then I have an NSC one, which I really like because they get that really dimply, just ribby look. And then I have the Anton Valley, that Owen bread. This one's from Woohoo. I'm not super motivated to keep it, so I might sell this on Marketplace. But in the meantime, I'm just gonna trim off a couple of leaves, just pull some dead stuff off. I don't think I'm tall enough to really get up here, but I'll do my best. Luckily, as I said, the shelves are not that dirty. And I could use the stretch. Is it clean? Is it clean? I don't really see much dirt up there anymore. I think it's clean now. I'm gonna pop the When Lingeri back on the side. And like I said, my Chris Carla will go in the middle because maybe it was too light stressed on the side. Woohoo's First Night will go back in the corner, but I'll just kind of push it backwards a little bit because it was getting light bleached. Forgetty Eye Carla, I will repot at some point, but I'll leave it there. And the little pap will go here. Were there more plants? No, that's it. We got rid of a couple. It's looking a lot tidier already. So now we're gonna work on this one, but I just wanna show you the leaf pile I've made so far. This is quite a hefty little leaf pile here. Okay, so I was getting really hungry doing that shelf, so I'm gonna take a quick break, eat a bite of something. We're gonna come back and tackle this shelf. Okay, I'm back. So this shelf has a lot more plants that probably can go. The bottom row, as well as like these bins here, and also these bins here, see the most rotations as I'm like growing seedlings. I sell them. They mostly come from here. The last restock I did go through them all, so I don't think I really need to do anything here. I do want to eventually have no bins on the floor, but this is always like a battle I have. This is Dark Phoenix by Ralph Lauren and Port Sherman. I did have a much nicer prop of this plant, and that has since sold. I was gonna keep the top for myself or maybe sell the top, but then there's a little bit of mite damage on here. I can't remember if this is old. I think this is already on the plant when I cut it, but I think it makes the most sense for me to chop this leaf off like so and put the whole thing into humidity and with like the pest treatment and everything. But in terms of downsizing, I think I have my Dark Phoenix, I have my paps, I can always make something else again, but I don't really need so many of these ones that look so similar. This one I do want to keep. This one is little Clarinervium that surprisingly got underwatered, so it got a little bit crispy. This is the newest leaf. This Clarinervium I found in a garden center with Charmaine, and I really like it. It's not very classic. It's a little bit more veiny than a typical clary, but this one hasn't been growing so well for me lately. It was starting to grow really well, and then I got busy, so we'll just leave it as a one leafer, and I'll give it a little water later today. This one is like a mag hybrid that Amanda made. So I think the mother plant was from NSC Tropicals, like ages and ages ago, many years ago, and it was possibly originally from Equigenera. I think Enid got a lot of her velvet anthurium from Equigenera way back in the day, and Amanda selfed it. It's a really cool plant, but I would like to restart it, so I'm gonna cut off this leaf that's not very healthy. I just remove some of the dead petioles. It looks like the top growth point may have died. Yep, it died. So it's going to be activating something from below. Before I put it into a prop box, I'm going to just clean off all of these dead sheets and everything, just because it's gonna rot a little bit more in high humidity. This is a little Drosera that Charmaine propped from her mother plant, and it's in, I think, a mixture of peat moss and sphagnum moss. And she gave this to me a few months ago, and I haven't had the time or the actual pot to make it something cute, but I have been putting it in water, but I've let it dry out so many times because I keep forgetting about it. But surprisingly, it stayed alive. So I am going to repot it into something cute, but I just don't have the perfect pot for it yet. But I am going to another craft market this weekend, so maybe we'll see if there's something in terms of like a shallow bowl maybe for some carnivorous plants, because I do want to start getting more carnivorous plants. My scalprum, even though it's arguably my favorite alocasia of all time, I don't think I would miss it if it was gone. And that's just my honest truth. There's like 3 or 4 plants in here. I'm just trying to think. I'm just trying to think if I will regret it. I might regret it, but it doesn't look very good right now. So there's one plant back here, which is like an activated corm that has gotten to a relatively good size. And then there's the main plant, which is not even that much bigger than the little corm. And then there's this one, which is a much younger cormling. Let's maybe keep you. So all I've done was clean up some sheets. I will give it a water. It does need water. This is my rhino skin forgetii, which got some edema damage, unfortunately. And let me look at the top growth point. It's not dead. Do a little bit of a sheath cleanup, but I will get rid of this leaf, and I think I will put it into the pile of plants that's going to grow inside of a bin. This is a forgetii I really like, and I might even chop it up. I'm not really sure. We'll just put it to the side though. It doesn't need to be on the shelf anymore. My ace of spades, the caterpillar is not active, but it has flowered. I think I will just leave it like this and give it a good water, but it is kind of ducking away from the light. So I need to find a better spot for it where it's not getting quite so much light, because you can see it's kind of like facing down, and I would prefer for it to kind of like lift up a little bit. This plant might have mites. Yeah, I need to do some like detailed one-on-one like flat mite wipe downs with pyrethrin. This is my Home Depot Michelle, which is working on a leaf. There's a new leaf coming out. I'm going to cut off this leaf that didn't form properly. And maybe I'll cut this leaf off too, which got really munched up coming out of the sheath. And we'll give it a little bit of a soil top up here. So just cover maybe like another inch of stem. And we'll just wait for this leaf to come out, and hopefully it forms well. But it hasn't been great for me in ambient. It's never been in my tent or anything in high humidity since it's come to me. I'm just gonna add a little bit more tree fern pond mix to the top. And now that I think about it, since I'm gonna be watering everything on these shelves after I'm done filming, I'm gonna reinoculate everything with Myco. I feel like everyone's due for a reinoculation. Okay, this plant is now done. Since it's on just like a wire shelf, I'm not gonna bother cleaning the wire. Since the ace of spades is not going back here, we'll put this near to the front. I'm gonna leave the ace of spades off because I might put it at the very top of this shelf or the top of this shelf where there's a little bit less light. The scalprum I'll just tuck at the back here, and then I just have the clarinervium, which I guess will go here. Oh yeah, and the drosera. Just pop it at the front so I don't forget to water it. Okay, now we're onto this shelf. I apologize, by the way, for the camera angle. It's just not feasible for me to have you guys here pointing at this shelf because the lighting gets so crazy over here. This is a pap from Justin, potting it out there. This is its newest leaf. There's a little bit of mite damage. Hopefully you can see that. There's just too many leaves on this one right now, and I think I want it to be a one leafer. So we'll do everything but that newest leaf, and we'll just leave it like that. It also does need a repot. There's quite a lot of roots in there. Here is a dead plant. It was a Pallidiflorum. What was it? I think it was a little offshoot. I can't even remember which palette it was. Was it my regular one or my narrow one? Don't remember, but it is fully deceased. Another King of Spades red crystal. I am totally not opposed to letting go of this one. There's some crispies to get off. This came from the same batch as the previous one, the one that was getting a lot of edema damage, but this one I don't like quite as much as that one, but it's from the same batch. It's from Haji Uli. I'm going to cut off all the leaves, but this is going to go into a prop box where hopefully it will put out a nice leaf, and before I sell it, I'll probably repot it into something much smaller so it's easier to ship. But this one doesn't have a tag, so I'm going to have to remember to make a tag just in case this leaf melts for some reason inside the prop box. Here's my red crystal port by King of Spades, which is very dry. So I can definitely get rid of this leaf. And should we just leave it like that? It's 3 leaves now, or 4 if you count this little one, which I will get rid of. The older leaves are technically fine, but maybe I'll just cut this one off at the back because it's a little bit awkward, and we'll just leave these two on. Here's another plant I think I will let go of. So this one is Ace of Perps by Papillanum. This was spread by Russo Plants. It's really pretty. It's got really nice dark foliage and it's really bumpy, but I just don't think I would miss it if it was gone because I don't really like tend to look at this plant all that much. Sometimes when it puts out a new leaf, I'm quite enamored by it because it's really dark and bumpy, but I haven't really been all that excited by it, which is strange because it has a lot of features that I tend to really love in anthurium, but for some reason, me and this plant just never really gelled. So I'm pretty sure there's dry rot in here. I'm gonna leave these two leaves on the plant, but I do need to take it out, cut off all the dry rot and pot it into like a thinner kind of, maybe a cup. Okay, this little King of Spades is Charmaine's, or I guess she gave it to me. This was around the same time that I got my King of Spades. So this was like 2020, this is a long time ago. It wasn't even called King of Spades at that time. And she found this one to be too difficult to grow. She got a new one that is growing better for her. This one is a chonk. Like this leaf is the main chonk, and then the apical growth point died off. So then it activated an axillary bud. Hopefully you can see it here. So these two leaves here were grown off in axillary bud. So I could technically separate it. The roots are quite insane on this one. I don't know how to, maybe I'll chop this leaf off. I might even chop off this one here. Let's just do it. So now it's just a single leafer, and maybe it'll grow a leaf for me in the next 6 months. Maybe it won't. This here is a very dead Rockweenum. This was my green form Rockweenum. I've had this one since 2020 and it was growing really well for a while, and then it kind of died back, and then it had like the longest stem. It was probably from here down to like here. So I cut off like a big chunk of stem. It was starting to grow, so I gave that away to a friend who was looking for queen. And then this is, I'm pretty sure, dead. I probably could snap it in half and it'll be dust. So I need to dismantle this and just chuck it out. This level of shelf does have a piece of glass, so I'll give it a little bit of a wipe down. These are the glass shelves from my Mills bow that are exactly the same depth as these wire shelves, just not quite the same width, but it does help because when I have smaller plants on this shelf, it tends to kind of like wobble on the wires. Okay, so the King of Spades can go back here, why not? I'll pop the red crystal King of Spades in the middle because that's where it was, and I quite like this plant. It does really need water. It looks so thirsty. The pap was here. Don't know if it'll stay there. We'll just put it there for now. And then maybe the Ace of Perps by Pap, I'll put back onto the shelf, even though I'm not gonna definitely keep it, but I'm looking at my little bin of stumps and it's looking like a lot of work. So this one doesn't necessarily need to be stumped. I'm just gonna leave it there. And then this level, this is a plant I definitely want to let go of. This is Subsignatum by Papillanum. I think this cross was done by Robin, and I never remember his handles, like Crystallinum. The petioles are just way too long on this, but I don't know who would even want this plant, but this is a plant that would probably be best sold locally. This is also a plant that I'm probably not going to keep. It's a pap hybrid, but the tag for it was lost, so we don't know what the hybrid is, but we just know that there's pap involved. So this is what the leaf looks like. I did sell a prop of this in the last restock. The leaves look actually quite good on it. My friend might be interested in this one because there's a little bit of, is it pest damage? I actually don't know that it's pest damage. It just looks like damage. So we'll see if she wants it. Another Dark Phoenix King of Spades. This one is very minimal. So it's like round like King of Spades, but the veins are really minimal. It did get massively attacked by thrips, but I didn't cut off this leaf for some reason. I'm gonna cut off this pesty leaf. This leaf also got thrips damage. I might just take it down to one leaf. And then I'll do the same thing with this one as the other one. I'll just put it in a prop box, spray it down with spinosad, and wait for another leaf to grow. Since I cut off that newest leaf, that's where the next leaf would have grown out of. So I don't know if that's gonna happen anymore. So it might just activate something from below. So this plant is Carib Queen. There's obviously been some watering issues with it, but the growth point does look active. This is a plant I'm struggling with because it would be difficult to get it again if I let go of it. It's not like it can just be replaced because this is Dressleri by Rugulosum. So I am inclined to keep it, but maybe I should just, well, this leaf is not doing much for it anymore. I'm gonna prop box this. And then my Wendlingeri, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it, but this inflow needs to go because every time I touch it, oh my gosh, do you see all that pollen? So we basically got rid of all the plants on this shelf. So maybe the Ace of Spades could go up here. Let's see what the light looks like if I just get my light meter. So it would have been here, and that would have been 300, just over 300 foot candles. Maybe if it was down here, it would be a little bit less. If it was up here, it's like 3 to 350-ish foot candles. And then up here, 200. And then over on this side, 300. This might be a better spot for it. I'm just gonna tilt it slightly away from the light. About 200. I think that's okay. It does look better in the middle of the shelf. Maybe I just push it backwards a little bit. 300. Oh, dang. I think it's probably best to put it over here. And it's just not that much light and the foliage can stay dark. I just noticed a spider web right here. Another thing I just thought of, since I have so much empty space now, is turn this into kind of like a prop layer with like the taller plants. Since I have so many plants that I pulled to be like binned, I'm gonna need the shelving for it. And so I could consolidate these plants upwards and then have bins here just in the few months that it takes to start growing them and like passing them on to the next person once they're healthy. I forgot I needed to find a plant for this pot, which I think should be my red crystal king of spades. I've been keeping a saucer in this pot because I didn't necessarily want to ruin the pot with all this fertilizer runoff. This plant is so fat that you can't even see the pot anymore. Maybe not this plant then. I will do, let's see, maybe the red crystal self could go in here. That's a little bit better. You can actually see the pot. That's actually really cute with the hot pink against the black. But yeah, this shelf is now done. There's actually so much space. And as I said, I might just change one layer to be props, like a temporary prop shelf. And I could see a world where this shelf doesn't exist anymore in this room. I just saw another spider web. I think these spiders are called cellar spiders. I looked it up and they're really common in like garages and basements and stuff. I don't really mind spiders, but I just hate the cobwebs. Anyways, what was I saying? Oh yes, so I can see a world where I don't have the shelf anymore and we kind of do something a little bit more homey like this on this side. So long as I have anthurium, I think I'm going to keep my grow tent, but this maybe not. I don't know. Maybe I'll shift. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I came to the realization that I just have so many plant supplies that I've accumulated over the years. And a lot of it was me buying in anticipation of a need that I didn't quite need, especially at the volume that I was preparing for. So I have a lot of pots and like plastic cups to prop plants in. My pledge to myself is before the new year, I'm going to go through all the supplies and donate everything that I don't need. And I'm just going to try to keep it like a really tight, like very small buffer between what I actually use and what I actually have. So there's a little bit of wiggle room, but I don't need so much stuff. But this is what the plant shelf looks like now. The Ace of Spades actually looks better here because I have that shelf to kind of point the leaf forward. Hopefully it starts growing. Windlinger is kind of staying there. I might change the riser, but I don't want to just sit it down here because it starts covering plants down here. I have room here for a bigger plant that doesn't need much light. This level is quite empty, so I could easily consolidate these two shelves and make this a bin shelf. And then down here, more seedlings. Let's see. This leaf grew pretty big. This is from the Carla Wu one, S2, I believe. This is Carla Bvep by Carla Wu oneself, so the inverse of the Carla Bvep. Okay, we'll just tuck you back in. And then this shelf is looking so much emptier with all the extra leaves gone. There's a few plants gone from here, but it's making my heart so happy to be able to see each individual plant now. So I have room here for one plant because it looks a little bit odd with that empty space. And I would like to put one plant here, but I'm just not sure what yet. But just as a recap, this is how the shelves looked like before we started chopping everything down. And now it just looks so much more manageable and I feel like I can breathe again in here. The second shelf didn't yield quite as many leaves, but this is still very satisfying. Looking at the background is really bothering me. There's nothing beside the Dark Phoenix. Let me see if I can find something to put there. Maybe I could put the Magpers Carla here. That might make it look a little bit less bad. How does it look? It's not perfect, but it's not bad. Anyways, I have a lot of watering to do and I'm gonna rush through that because I'm gonna go spend time with the dogs. It is Huxley's 7th birthday today. I cannot believe my little baby is 7 years old. And later we're gonna go for a nice long walk because it is not raining today. So we've been doing much longer walks lately. This year has been, well, since September, the theme of this house has been steps. I haven't been quite as good as my boyfriend. He's been hitting consistently without breaking a streak 10,000 or more, up to 15, 18,000 every single day. We even got a walking pad so we can keep doing it even on the really rainy days. But I've been noticing such a big change in Huxley too. He's just like so much more energetic. With Doug, there's been no change whatsoever. He has unlimited energy and he's built like a demogorgon. But Huxley's always just been this soft little dumpling. And I noticed that ever since we got Doug, his energy has gone down. But ever since we started doing much longer walks, he's just trucking along like a champ. So that's what we're gonna do today. He's gonna get toys, gifts, nice long walk. I might put an egg in his dinner, even though I have a lot of work to do on these 2 bins here. That can wait. We're just gonna rush through the watering and get on with our day. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope your day's been lovely so far. I love you guys so much and I'll see you in the next one. Mwah!